Hi, I'm Dina, and today we'll be looking at Comenius in the business education classroom. Here's a brief outline of what we'll go over. First, I'd like to just talk about the background of Johann Amos Comenius. He was born in 1592, orphaned at the age of 12, went on to get an education and served as a pastor and principal. He was a member of a very elite, or not elite, but small sect of Protestants called the Brethren. He lived through the 30-Year War, and as a result of that, his village was burned by the Catholics, and he became a refugee. He and his family left the modern Czech Republic where he was born, and during their time in exile, his wife and two of his children died. However, he continued to be a prolific writer and advocate for peace and education. He was a consultant for Swedish educational systems and also turned down an offer to be president of Harvard. His basic philosophy of education revolved around the development of his theory, panpsychism. He was also rooted in realist theory. He was a Christian theist, an advocate for early childhood education, and also the father of modern education. And he believed that universal knowledge should lead to unification and understanding that would cross cultural lines, strengthen people's relationships with God, and also that knowledge is gained through senses and by using real objects and observing nature. And he looked a lot at the stages of child development, related that back to nature, and also looked at the orderly design in nature and believed that that was a source of inspiration for orderly design in education. So in his theory, when put into practice, he encouraged teachers to provide lessons based on individual child development. He developed a system of education with 4 levels: infant, primary, grammar, and university level. He grouped children in classroom by developmental stages, and he avoided recitation and encouraged engaged learning through models, maps, and hands-on experiences. As far as diversity goes, Comenius emphasized the importance of mothers as fundamental in infant education. So he elevated women as teachers to their sons, which was pretty significant. He advocated for girls to receive an education. He encouraged equal access to educational materials. And he was an ecumenical educator in that he sought to bring various factions of the Christian faith together on common ground rather than being divisive. As far as a critical analysis of Comenius, he is the foundation for many advocates of early childhood education, those that we see in Rousseau, Froebel, and Montessori. He was an opponent of corporal punishment, which some would agree or disagree with that, but most of the United States has, individual states have adopted bans on corporal punishment in public schools. He was also opposed because of his idea that religion and science complemented one another. And then there were people that complained that he had inconsistencies, although other writers that followed kind of tried to reconcile those inconsistencies. And some said he was too idealistic, but the basic foundation behind what he believed was Christian theism. So as far as the business education classroom, the implications from what Comenius taught would be that I would want to design a warm, inviting environment for students to feel welcome and comfortable growing and developing. I would focus on project-based learning to engage students through their senses and teach to the different strengths, whether that's auditory, visual, hands-on learning, whatever that might be. I would also discuss ethics in education. Comenius was a big proponent of moral education. And I believe also it would be important to emphasize career pathways to help students find their purpose in life. Because Comenius believed that everything that we did as far as learning was to, in the end, manifest the glory of God. And so even in a public education setting, I might not be able to talk specifically about certain spiritual elements. There are opportunities to help students find their passion and their purpose in life. And a lot of times they find that through career pathways, which is a great opportunity in a business ed class. So I would challenge you to think about how you can adopt components of Comenius' philosophy in your own educational environment by asking if your classroom is inclusive. Are you sensitive to the individual developmental levels? How are you trying to engage students? And how are you embracing technology? And finally, I've just included some of my sources, and I thank you for watching.